This is the Anna Gale Lines podcast, where we equip you with the tools and insights to take charge of your life and thrive. And here is your host, life coach and author, Anna Gale Lines.
Welcome to the Anna Gale Lines podcast. I'm your host, Anna Gale Lines. Are you feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and mentally drained? You're not alone. In today's fast-paced world, burnout has become all too common, affecting individuals across various professions and walks of life. But the good news is that burnout is not a permanent state. With the right strategies and mind shifts, you can overcome burnout and reclaim your energy, passion, and joy. In this episode, we'll explore practical tips and techniques to help you break free from burnout and revitalize your mind, body, and spirit. So if you are ready to say goodbye to burnout and hello to a renewed sense of vitality and well-being, then stay tuned. Let's embark on this journey together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on personal growth and well-being. Let's make overcoming burnout a reality. So what exactly is burnout? According to the APA Dictionary of Psychology, burnout is defined as physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion accompanied by decreased motivation, lowered performance, and negative attitudes towards oneself and others. So what are some signs of burnout? So mental burnout, some of the signs are dreading work, lack of interest or motivation, decreased sense of accomplishment, uncontrolled procrastination, feeling incapable of coping with new challenges. Physical burnout is exhaustion, chronic stress, inconsistent sleep habits, frequent health problems ranging from headaches to colds to mental health illnesses like depression and anxiety. Emotional burnout, cynicism at work, inability or anger at work, frustration at work, suddenly and intensely disliking your job, feelings of hopelessness at work, feeling like you should isolate yourself from others. So what causes burnout? So what causes burnout at work? A recent survey by Indeed shows that during the pandemic, that cases of employee burnout surged from 42% to 53% in the United States, while 67% of the respondents said that during the pandemic, their burnout got worse. So what are some causes of workplace burnout? One is the absence of control. When we feel like we don't have control over our work, we become disengaged and we're working longer hours and we have difficulty juggling our home life and our work life because we always seem to be at work. We're being called in and we're having to work overtime and we're having to do the job of 3 or 4 people because they won't hire anybody or they can't find anybody suitable to hire. And also, absence of rewards. When people feel like they're not getting rewarded for their efforts, they're just going to work, getting a paycheck, and nobody's acknowledging them. Nobody's acknowledging their good work, or they're not saying thank you for the amount of work that is put in. And when they go above and beyond for customers or above and beyond for the employer, they're not getting rewarded and they're not even getting an attaboy. Dysfunctional work environments. So this is places where workplace harassment and discrimination is taking place. Bullying from a boss, management, or your coworkers, aggressive communications and yelling. Lack of leadership support. When management doesn't recognize employees' efforts or achievements and clear milestones such as anniversaries go by, they don't even acknowledge your birthday. You feel like more of a number instead of a person. And when you go to leadership with a problem, like somebody's bullying you or there's workplace harassment and they're not doing anything, and they're making you out to be the victim, that's where there's a lack of leadership support that causes burnout. And then There are personal causes that can cause burnout as well, such as our childhood experiences. So root causes of many adult issues tie back to childhood, because how we deal with our bosses, how we deal with our workplaces, how we deal with other people stems with what we were taught in childhood or the experiences we had in childhood. So if we were taught to be respectful, we will be respectful. If we saw our parents be respectful to other people, we will be respectful. But if our boundaries were violated as children, that will reflect in the way that we deal with people in the workplace, the way we deal with people in our family, the way we deal with people that we're friends with. And a people-pleasing personality can cause problems as well, because we're always trying to help people and we can't say no. And so we've got a project going on over here and a project going over here and one over here and one over here, because we couldn't say no. And we can't juggle all of that. So we become burned out. And then social isolation. So there's a lot of people who like to stay to themselves. They choose to stay to themselves, but there's other people who can't make friends well. And so they're lonely because they don't know how to make friends. They don't know how to socialize with people. Then there's negative perfectionism. Not all perfectionism is a bad thing, but people who never feel satisfied from their achievements. They've always got to do more and do more and do more, and what they did do, they nitpick. That's considered negative perfectionism, and that can cause you to burn out. There's also lifestyle mismatch. Our lifestyle impacts our well-being just like job-related and personal factors do. So lack of sleep is one of them. So if we're not getting enough sleep, we're going to become burnt out. We're going to feel tired all the time and frustrated and irritable. And if we don't have hobbies and activities, things outside of work and outside of our family, things that we like to do, then we're also going to feel burnt out. So if we don't engage in our activities like painting or playing music or doing crafts or taking a class or something outside of our work, then we're going to become burnt out because we don't have any activities that we can enjoy on our own. And then when we've got an overachiever mindset, we're trying to get to that next goal and that next level, and we're trying to get the C-suite, and we're trying to go after this goal of getting a movie done. And when we're in this overachiever mindset, it's good to go after your goals, but if you're never satisfied and you don't take time to actually enjoy life, smell the roses, enjoy just doing activities like painting or writing or whatever it is that you like to do, if we don't take that break, we're going to become burnt out. So how do we overcome burnout? One is by tracking our stress levels. If you're into gadgets, stress trackers are a way to monitor your anxiety. Trackers can also help you understand more about your personal stress patterns and behaviors. And then we need to identify those stressors. So we need to pay attention to incidents and people and situations that constantly cause us to be stressed. So are you always stressed when you go around your family? Are you always stressed at work? When you get people who yell at you? Do you get stressed around certain people like your mother or your father or your spouse or your kids? What are the triggers? And then we can also create a habit of journaling. Journaling has proved to be an excellent emotional decompressor. It helps you get all of your words onto the page. You might try an exercise of doing morning pages like Julia Cameron would tell you to do in The Artist's Way. That's where you get up in the morning and you write 3 pages, handwritten pages, not computer pages. And you just do a brain dump. It's what is on your mind, what comes to mind. Don't even think about it. Just keep writing. And one of the rules is not to pick up your pen or your pencil when you're doing it. Don't pick it up. Just continue writing and writing and writing. And you'll see your emotions coming to the surface when you do this. It's an interesting exercise, because if you keep doing it for months at a time and you keep them all in an envelope, and 6 months later you come back to it, a year later you come back to it, open it up and read it, you'll find that you start to see the triggers, the patterns in your life that are causing you that stress. And then we need to seek professional help from a coach or therapist, because if we're feeling burnt out and we're feeling stuck and it's causing us to be depressed and it's causing us anxiety and it is stopping us from doing things in our lives, then we need help. A lot of people think that asking for help is weak, but it's the strongest thing that you can do, because you are admitting that you can't handle this on your own and you need a professional to help you. We need to build a support network, whether that means letting your friends in on what's going on and letting them support you, whether that means going to seek out support groups, like support groups of people who have been through domestic violence. We need to build a support network around us, our tribe, because we need to go where we are celebrated and not where we are tolerated. Because when you're just tolerated, people are not seeing your worth. They're not supporting you. You're not getting the support you need. And because you're not getting the support you need, you are becoming depressed and anxious, and you're worried about your life, and you're contemplating your life choices, and you feel like you're a failure. But when we have our tribe around us, those people who can support us, the people who have been there, done that, then we know that we're not alone and that somebody has been through this before us. We need to get enough exercise. A lot of times during winter, people will stay in because of the weather, but we need to make sure that we are getting in the sunlight, that we are exercising, we are moving, even if that means just going for a walk or going for a hike, or if it means playing basketball or soccer or doing something you love like swimming. But exercise will help us release that tension and help us feel better about ourselves. And then we need to speak up for ourselves, because this is one thing that we don't do enough. A lot of times we're in a situation where things are not going our way. We've been overlooked for a job. People are telling us we can't do this and we can't do that. Our spouse doesn't want us to start a business or have a side hustle. Our kids are coming against us. Our family doesn't like our life choices. We need to speak up for ourselves. We need to be honest with the situation, with our bosses or our managers or our family members or whoever it is. And we need to make sure that we see ourselves as worthy, that we have gifts and talents that are worth something. And just because other people don't see what we're worth does not mean we're not worthy. We need to speak up for our worth, speak up for who we are, and make sure that we are our own advocate. Because too many times people will be passed up for a promotion, things will go wrong at work, we didn't do it, and we're being blamed for it. Same thing happens in our families, and we don't speak up. We just want to keep the peace. But we can't do that. I mean, there are times when we should keep the peace and just let it go. We need to figure out what battle we are going to speak up for and what battle we aren't going to. What hill do you want to die on? Because we got to pick our battles, and we got to speak up for what is right. We got to speak up for ourselves, and we have to speak up for those who have no voice. And then we need to learn stress management techniques. A lot of times, this is just staying still, because we're trying to go. We're trying to take care of the family, and we're trying to take care of work. we're trying to take care of our business, we're trying to juggle everything, and we don't have time to ourselves. And we need to take a break. We need to take a break, stay silent, and hear our inner voice as to what it's telling us to do. We need to rest, because we cannot keep going and juggling all these balls in the air without rest. Because if we don't rest, we are going to burn ourselves out. And then we need to create a work-life balance. But work-life balance means that sometimes you're going to focus more on work. Sometimes you're going to focus more on your family. And it's never going to be in an exact balance. It's not like the scales. It's never going to be an exact balance. But you got to make sure that you are paying attention to your family, paying attention to your work, making sure everything gets done. And making sure you carve out time with your children and your spouse, and put it on not on your to-do list. Put it in your appointments. Make an appointment just like you would your doctor's appointments, to spend time with your spouse, spend time with your family, and go for a picnic, go for a run together, go to the museum or movies together, do something together, because that's also going to count as you resting your mind from what it is that you're doing at work, what it is that you're doing on your side hustle, all those things that grab at you, and you get to enjoy your family while doing something entertaining. And also do what you enjoy doing. So when we become stressed out, when we become burnt out, it's because a lot of times we are focusing on what needs to get done, and we're never focusing on what we enjoy doing. Maybe it's binging on a Netflix series. Maybe it's reading romance novels. Maybe it's reading science fiction novels. Maybe it's going to hang out with your friends, or painting or writing or whatever. But we need to take that break. We need to do something that we enjoy. We need some us time. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to be no good to others. And then we need to set boundaries with people. Because too many times we are not setting our boundaries with other people. We're doing too much. We're saying yes when we should be saying no. We are allowing our family and friends to depend on us when we've got other things that need to be done. We need to set boundaries. When we say no, it means no. Can't say no and then change our mind to yes. Our no's need to be solid, and our yes needs to be solid. If you commit to something, you're committed. You're all in. But if you can't do it, say that from the beginning. Don't say, oh, I'm going to do that, and then cop out later. We need to set boundaries with ourselves and others. Then how long does it take to recover from burnout? Well, the first thing is we got to admit there's a problem. We can't start a recovery process until we recognize that there's a problem. A lot of times we want to ignore the problem. We want to deny the problem, but we have to admit that we have a problem, that we are burnt out. Otherwise, we cannot fix what we don't confront. And then we need to take a break. Taking a break from work is not always possible, but it will help us alleviate the strain. If you got a lot of PTO, take a day off. Take a mental health day, just for you. Take a vacation. Go someplace else. Go somewhere besides your four walls of your house and your work, so that you can experience something besides what you see every day and get a different perspective. Because when we take breaks, we alleviate the strain and the stress, and we learn to relax and regroup and gather our energy again. Then we need to focus on our well-being. So we need to make sure that we are scheduling relaxation time, recreation time, that we're taking breaks, that we're getting enough sleep, that we're connecting with our friends and family, that we're doing things that we love. And we need to focus on making sure that we are filling our tanks, because we cannot fill anybody else's tank unless we fill our tank first. It's like when they tell you on an airplane that as the mother or the parent, you need to put the oxygen mask on you first before you do it on your child. It's because you need to be able to breathe in order to help anybody else. And then we need to reflect on our personal values. Reflecting on our personal values can remind us who we really are and those parts of our lives that deserve attention. Those parts of our lives that are the goals that we want to go after, what we want to achieve in life. But we don't always go after them because we're too stuck in the day-to-day, the mundane of life, instead of focusing on what we want in life. And we need to explore new opportunities. There's more than one way to make money. So if your current role or responsibilities at work are draining you, you might try to find something else. A lot of people are moving from a 9-to-5 job to gigs, like becoming a life coach and you've got clients, or becoming a musician and you've got gigs that you play, or doing something else like creating products that you could sell on the internet. There's a lot more opportunity these days, and if you aren't happy in your job or you're not happy in life, figure out what it is that would make you happy and go after it, as long as it's not hurting anybody. But make sure that you are going to make the change. Decide what you want in life, decide where you want to go with your life and how to get there, and then start to make those changes. Make small changes at first. Small changes will lead you towards those bigger changes. But we've got to admit that we've got a problem, and we have to figure out where we want to go with our lives and where we're not happy and what is going to make us happy, and then start to make those changes. Because if we don't make the changes, we are going to stay stuck and we're going to stay burnt out. So thank you for tuning in to this video on overcoming burnout. Remember, recognizing and addressing burnout is a critical step towards reclaiming your well-being and finding balance in your life. By implementing the strategies discussed here, such as prioritizing your self-care, setting boundaries, seeking support, you can gradually regain your energy and enthusiasm. You're not alone on this journey, and there's hope for a brighter, more fulfilling tomorrow. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on personal growth and mental health. Together, let's break the cycle of burnout and thrive. Until next time.
If you would like to learn more about Anna Gale or to purchase her fiction and nonfiction books, go to AnnaGaleLines.com. That is AnnaGaleLines.com. Right now, you can buy 3 ebooks and get the 4th one free. There you can sign up for the newsletter to keep up to date on what is happening in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast and her science fiction podcast, The Space-Tastic Mysteries, where you can hear installments of her novels. To follow her on social media, it is Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram, at the Anna Gale Lines Podcast on YouTube. You can join the Facebook page at Author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening and thank you for being you.